This is the unknowns in all of this, and this is the problem with it, because you don't actually know where you quite stand. And if you haven't liquidated it, how are you supposed to pay that tax, for goodness sake?
Before we start, we need to tell you up front we are not a licensed financial planning, accounting or law firm. This is simply an education program which will give you factual information. We do not give any general or specific advice around finance, business, investing, options trading or anything else. That is not what this presentation does. Please see a licensed financial planner when it comes to any investment advice you need.
I believe you've got another subject for us to jump down the path of there, Derek.
I do. It's been really, really interesting in relation to what's happening in US politics of late. And of course,
that means we've got a video.
We do have
a video. Have we got a
Yeah.
video?
The Democrats made a proposal some time ago about the billionaires tax. And what they would try to do with the billionaires tax is tax unrealized capital gains of wealthy Americans. And that is really become a big concern, because under the current rules is that, you know, any appreciation of an asset, you're talking cryptocurrencies or stock or real estate, that's not taxed until it's sold.
Right.
Okay? That's what we call realized. But what they're trying to do is tax it before it's realized. That's why they call it unrealized. So what's going on is it's called the Biden's administration General Explanations of the Administration's Fiscal Year 2025 Revenue Proposals. There's a mouthful for you.
It's catchy. It's catchy.
It sounds like a standard sentence for Biden. Ice cream.
Hands my legs.
And basically it would tax paper gains on assets that are sitting in an account but haven't been sold yet. But imagine this, like, so you had $100,000 worth of stock.
Yes.
Okay. And America's financial year is January 1. By December 31, it hits 125,000. They are taxed on that 25,000, even though they never sold it.
Right. Now, what happens if you hold on to it and then a year later it drops down to 80,000? You paid that tax on.
This is the unknowns in all of this, and this is the problem with it, because you don't actually know where you quite stand. And if you haven't liquidated it, how are you supposed to pay that tax, for goodness sake? Now they're saying, oh, it's okay, it'll just apply to the billionaires and this sort of stuff. And what it doesn't realize, most people don't realize, is most of these billionaires are not sitting in cash like Warren Buffett right now.
That's right.
They've got money in assets, because otherwise they're subject to inflation and they're losing money because it's just sitting in a bank account, which is often very little.
I wanted to ask you that about why would Warren Buffett sit on that much cash? Because he's effectively losing money. So, I mean, I get it.
He's probably transferred it all to gold.
To be in a position so he's ready to buy, right? I get that. Okay. But, you know, would you do that? You wouldn't do that on a long term.
I wonder if he's trying to buy a country.
Good. Who knows? Got one for sale.
Maybe he's just going to retire now and donate it all and give it all away.
That's right. You know what? You just send a little email to Albo at Australian government.
Going cheap.
That's right.
Just got to pay off the Chinese first.
The silly thing about this is it discourages people to invest.
Of course it does.
Right. The second thing that's silly about it is that these billionaires are often investing in businesses and companies which create jobs for employment for people in the marketplace. So taxing them on that, punishing them for doing business there, the big concern is that money just goes elsewhere. It goes international for other opportunities where it's not so crazy. And that's what they're risking here by doing this kind of proposing.
So, yeah, I mean, look, and people want security, obviously, you know, and with the instability in the US at the moment, we talked about the election coming, right? And, you know, in my eyes, and I mean, granted, this is my opinion, but I mean, another 4 years under the Democrats, I can't see how anybody could feel any security at all. I really don't.
Well, it's a great opportunity for the Republicans. If we see what DeSantis has said about this, it's quite an insight in terms of their take on the matter.
I don't know what's going to happen with the national economy going forward. I can tell you, if you have somebody like Harris actually try to do something like tax unrealized gains, that will tank this economy. We will feel that in Florida big time. You will have capital flee from this country. And here's the thing. First of all, an unrealized gain, it's not even a gain until you realize it. I mean, you know, values fluctuate. And so maybe you buy a stock, and in 2 years it goes up by 30%, but 2 weeks later it could be down 15% from that high. It's just, this is not something, until you sell it, you know, you don't have on the open market. You don't. So the whole thing is ridiculous.
I think we've also considered, like we have been discussing about real estate. What does an investor provide? It provides a home for someone to rent, right?
Correct.
If you're taxing them an unrealized gain, so the house has gone up by $50,000 this last year, like we've had a bull run, as we've said in the last 12 months, you're expecting them to come up with that kind of capital, and of course the rent's not matching. It's not even worth doing. But they're providing a service otherwise the government would have to do, right? It's preventing the government from having to provide home housing, state housing, and having to manage it. I mean, that's the big one. It's one thing to build it; it's another thing to manage it.
Spot on.
And that's a process in itself.
How do I word this? Especially in America, you can see that there's a huge push that the government's trying to take everything over. They've fully drank the World Economic Forum's Kool-Aid. You'll own nothing. You'll be happy. Is this just another push to get all the investors and everyone out of America so the government can take over? So then the government can be responsible for where you live. The government can be responsible for what you do for work,
America
how much food
full on communist, isn't it?
It's
Well, isn't that just what the Democrats are?
worries me. That could be the red wave, right?
Like,
honestly,
isn't that what Bernie Sanders is all about?
Oh, that's what he's always been about. And when you've got Miss Word Salad, 2000
2.0.
oh my, she's just honestly, every time that woman opens her mouth, she just shows how poorly qualified she is. We're replacing basically, SpongeBob with this Word Salad, mistress. Yeah, how could you have any security? How, as an investor, why would you invest in America in housing and those things and providing jobs, all that, when you've got these people at the top who just don't know what they're doing, and they're trying, they're destroyed the energy independence of the US. They've destroyed, they're talking about fracking. Oh, it's on, it's off. No matter how you feel about this thing, you've got to think about confidence, and there doesn't seem to be anything there.
Well, we saw the money leave New York and go into Texas, right? About 6 months ago.
Hang on, isn't Texas a Republican state though?
It is, but
say something?
What I'm saying is that the money's going to more conservative opportunities, governance, right?
Yep.
And so it's been an attack on the United States from within, internally. That's what's going on. We won't do the border because we can't be bothered, and if we do go down there, we'll go to the place where it's not really happening, right? And nothing to see here. It's total manipulation and times the narrative, and of course they've been caught with their hand in the cookie jar. They are being caught out on what they're proposing now. The normies, the sleepies are waking up, and that's the exciting part of it.
Oh, very much, very much. I mean, look, when you look at the illegal immigration rate that's come into the US in the last 3.5 years, it's half the population of Australia.
It's just gotten so out of control now. It's just why would anyone vote for Kamala? It just doesn't make any sense.
Oh, because
it's
the vibe,
identity politics.
It's about the vibe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think they're I think the Democrats are behind the scenes in furor what they're going to do about it, because they know we can't put her in front of an interviewer, right? And if we do,
can you imagine her in front of Trump?
No, they just did though. They just did.
That was CNN.
Disaster,
yes,
right.
They're not interviewers.
And it was a 19-minute interview, and they wouldn't release the full transcript. So obviously, they have had some say in what can go out publicly, right?
Right.
So this is a concern. I don't think they're happy with who they've put there.
It's kind of scary. How desperate are they going to get? Will they go to war or try and do something to postpone elections? Or
I don't think they'll have a choice.
You know what I mean? They have to play their hand now. They're in the position now. Do they just leave it and let Trump come in, or do we just go crazy?
No. What we do is we have a last-minute pandemic, okay, and we have to mail in ballots. Okay?
Monkeypox.
Yeah, monkeypox. Okay, we have whatever, banana pox, whatever pox we get in this week, cocoa pox. I don't care.
You're gonna get nailed for that one.
These days it would. But this is the only way. The only way in my eyes.
Have ballots or something.
It's all gonna be.
But it's such a one-sided. I mean, they'd have to cheat on a massive scale.
Well, they did. I think they did 4 years ago, but there you go.
Even more so. You have to believe that.
So it'll be Niagara Falls this time instead of just a slight hiccup. So, but let's look at this from the general American people's point of view. Again, a lot of them very poorly educated. Even though they've gone through school, they've got their degrees and all that sort of stuff, they don't understand how the systems work. So they don't say, "Oh, great, we get to tax the billionaires." Billionaires are going, "Okay, I'll just send it to another country." Like
it's probably a massive overgeneralization. There's I see a lot of people who interview people on the street. There's definitely
they are
NPCs there, but there's a lot of people who know what's going, because they feel it, right? The inflation and the cost of living of the last 4 years, etc. So now it's the chickens are coming up to roost.
It's okay to be rich in America. That's what you got to realize.
Yeah,
in
in
Australia,
Australia,
we
oh.
like to tear down the rich, and because we've got the tall poppy syndrome. You got to remember, you can't use that filter over there. It's completely different. It's kind of like, wow, you drive a Ferrari. How do you do that so I can work out how to get one myself? You know, that's the mindset there.
Whereas here, they come up and scratch the side of it.
Yeah, you mongrel, why do
So-
you have this? Not fair.
The one thing I am kind of hoping, because I'm more worried about international politics than just the internal ones. At the moment, you have China eyeing off Taiwan. You've got Russia, Ukraine still dragging on, which was supposed to be like a 100-day war. You've got Israel in the Middle East going ape shit at the moment. I think what everyone needs to do is just like sit in their corner for a bit, get the shit sorted, and then sort it out.
Chill out.
Now, if you have a look at Kamala Harris as the leader of the most powerful military in the world versus Donald Trump as the most powerful leader of the military in the world, Trump's more likely to hit the nuke button. So all these other world leaders that are eyeing off other countries, they don't sit down, shut up until he's done. This will give him a chance to get everything internally sorted out and then, you know, just stabilize the economy, get everything working, drain the swamp and do what needs to be done. Where Kamala Harris, she'll just laugh like a hyena, go, China invaded Taiwan, that's fine. And then nothing's going to happen and we're going to end up with a genuine World War III.
From a Russian perspective, you would say that Putin would probably say that Harris is more predictable than Trump.
No, absolutely.
In terms of behavior and how they respond.
Yep.
And so that, in terms of the security of the United States, puts a lot of things into question as to who should be at the helm.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the smart medy's already made the decision. I heard rumblings that Jamie Dimon might join Trump in his as Treasury Secretary and things like that. So perhaps the smart money's picking the right one.
I agree, because I heard that rumor as well. So yeah, well, look, clearly,
Well, didn't Elon Musk throw 60 million behind Trump as well?
yeah, more than that actually. I think it's staged over 3 payments. About
Well, he gave it to
150
a
million.
Republican PAC. He didn't give it to him directly.
Of course
but,
not.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Well said.
So, but apparently he's also got a few mates that are also throwing in quite a hefty amount of
There you
money as
go.
well.
Look,
So
during
I'd be happy with 1% of all that money.
Yep.
You know, just that's fine. Just throw us 1%.
Yeah, you know, you don't want everything, mate. You know,
I'll be nice. I'll share some around.
Look, during this administration, though, if you want to talk about wars and just the complete lack of ability when it comes to international politics, you look when they sent Kamala over there to Taiwan, right? I mean, to me, that was just poking China. What are they doing? Like, what are you doing?
They want
Oh,
war.
Pelosi, my apologies.
The
Like they
elites,
said Pelosi,
the
my
elites
apologies.
want
Yeah,
war.
they
It's
look the
profitable.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you look at was it Raytheon and the military stocks a couple of weeks ago just shot through the roof.
Yep.
You know, so it's
The-
they know something's happening.
Yeah, the experiment we did last week, that was amazing. Looking at the Google images. From year
With
to
the
year,
dates, yeah.
Oh, just crazy. I mean, it's just makes me feel like I'm literally living in the Matrix, but we have control of it. We have
Yeah, have
control of
fun with that one.
ourselves. Yeah.
So I reckon we throw it to Richie.
Mm.
Who do you think's going to win the election?
Well, I'm not going to just pick the prevailing narrative. Everyone backing Trump. I think maybe there's still a path for RFK because he has to just stop neither of them winning in their own right. So then it'll go to the Senate, and then they'll pick the president and VP. So that's an outside chance.
Oh, mate.
That would be hilarious. Personally, like I still want
Because
Salami.
he's still on the ballot, remember, in all the
Yeah.
other states except the swing states.
I still want Salami in.
Ramaswamy.
Yeah, that one.
Vivek
Salami.
Ramaswamy.
I thought he was awesome. He was well spoken. Made some really, really good points. I just like the guy.
Come look, 2028. That's I'm not an
Swami.
American citizen. That's the man I'd be voting for. Simple as that, right? Or Tulsi Gabbard, right? Two.
She's come behind Trump now, hasn't
Yeah,
she? She's
she
back
has.
in.
Yeah, they're the two standouts as far as I'm concerned. I see America having a greater future with those two people than anybody who's up right now.
Well, it's interesting to hear the election narrative change a little bit in terms of make America healthy again with RFK backing him.
Sure.
And I think that's really, really interesting to watch because, of course, Trump's always, his focus is the nation as a whole, its military standing, of course, those who are destroying it. Robert's come in with a bit of a different perspective in that he's more concerned about the health of Americans. And he's very, very eloquent in terms of the stats and what's been going on. He's right across it. And I think that's really, really exciting from American point of view to put that
I
in the
agree.
forefront and show this, how the pharmacy cartel has been attempting to run things
The
here.
Democratic Party, if they felt they could have controlled him, then he would have been their man. Okay, if he's got the right name behind him. Obviously, he's got the voice issues. Which
Would he get shot though?
learn to run fast? That's for sure.
I sometimes think the voice issue helps him because it makes
Yeah.
people stop and listen and actually listen to what he's saying, right?
Ooh, didn't think
Isn't
of that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, valid point.
Mm.
Interesting.
So you don't always have to be loud like your shirt, Aaron.
That's one of my quiet ones. What are you talking about? All right, I reckon that's it for the show today. Thank you very much, everyone, for being part of it. For the people online, very quiet day, no questions, which is very strange. Oh, there we go. Coach, lovely to have a little comment there. Thank you very much.
It's funny, I haven't got my glasses on, so I have to zoom in the screen every time I put something up.
We normally get lots of comments. Maybe people are just shocked into silence. What's going on there? You can catch, of course, the replay of this on Sunday at 5 p.m. Otherwise, it's going to be up on the socials and obviously on YouTube and all those places you can catch whenever you like.
Oh, and before I run, because I'm officially old as of Saturday, 41. So a whole heap of people put comments and wishes me happy birthdays and all that sort of stuff. So I just want to shout out to everyone who commented. So thank you.
I even called you.
I know, but I didn't answer.
No.
I saw it was you. I was like,
Nah.
revenge.
And on that bombshell, that's the end of the show. Thanks for being part of The Greater Wealth here on Edge Radio Australia.